So I thought today's video, I should film it from where I spend the majority of my life at the moment, which is on the kitchen floor. We have now invested in some foam tiles because Coop was on the move. He is raring and ready to go and nothing will stop him. We have started using the word no, which I think he's got an idea that it means he's doing something wrong because he gives me this little look as if to say, yeah right mum, I'm gonna do this anyway. I thought I'd film this episode and just have a little chat about kind of like my life so far, how it's all going, like what's the latest with Coops. So he is sort of filming this on his 8-month birthday. He's 8 months old today. And he has just, like in the last week, I kid you not, gone from not really moving much at all to being Mr. Crawley. And we actually thought he was going to skip crawling because he was just showing no signs of wanting to crawl and a lot of signs of standing up and wanting to like walk, which I know is probably a long way off, but we just didn't think he'd crawl. And then all of a sudden one morning he was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this today. I've had a good night's sleep, I'm ready. We've gone from having Coops to breastfeeding to bottle feeding to now weaning him onto food, which was ever so slightly stressful. I feel like all these milestones are stressful until you get the hang of them, and then it's okay, and it's just dealing and managing that. So a lot of you have asked me about going from boob to bottle and also weaning Coops onto food. I'm just gonna go over it briefly because I'd rather do like specific episodes for like boob to bottle, blah blah blah. A lot of you have asked how I managed to get Coops to take a bottle because, as some of you will probably remember, it was hard, it was a nightmare. And the only thing I can say that got us through it and got Cooper to eventually take it was persistence. And it was horrible because that was Danny's time with Cooper and Cooper would just scream. So and I'd go upstairs and just be sat there going, oh God, this is awful. Poor Danny, he's down there trying to feed his son and just not wanting it. And just finally, one day it clicked with him. But it took a long time. So perseverance is my only bit of advice with that. So going on to weaning, that was a bit of a tricky one. So we started Coops on food. And if you've seen my weaning journey so far, you'll know kind of how that went. So if you haven't, go and watch that episode. And then recently, he went through this stage of not wanting to eat at all, like literally nothing. And I was getting stressed out, Danny was getting stressed out. And meal times became quite a stressy environment. And somebody said to me, I can't remember who it was, actually it was probably a lot of you on Instagram actually, gave me this bit of advice and this changed everything. Food for fun until they're 1. And now he's eating wonderfully. Because I stopped stressing. I was like, right, okay, so if you don't want to eat that, and that's fine, because actually when they're still this young, until they're 1, they don't actually need anything other than the milk. They're fine just on that. So you've just got to enjoy trying to feed them rather than making it into a stressful situation. So that's my bit of weaning advice for you. It really did change things for us. And now he's eating very well. We give him his savoury off a spoon, or if it's, you know, something that he can hold in his hand, then he can hold it. You know, if it's puree, probably best not to let him feed himself with that. And then with like fruit purees and stuff, which I do majority out of a pack because I just can't be asked to puree fruit, if I'm being honest with you. This is the thing, a lot of mummies feel like they need to do everything and then feel bad if they're not doing it and don't want to say. I mean, I don't cook that often for Cooper. Like, I try and have a day where I do a bulk cook, put it all in the freezer. I feel like I'm winning at being a mum. But there are weeks when I cannot be bothered or I don't have time, and that is okay because Coops is getting what he needs. I'm not starving him, I'm not giving him crap. I'm giving him decent food. It's just not stuff that I've prepared. This probably all seems very bitty what I'm talking about, but it's just all these things that are in my head that I feel like I want to tell you guys, like little tips and things. So I'm just gonna blab away. One tip, If your child has pooed on their clothes and it stains, which we all know it does for some reason, stains clothes. It's really blooming annoying. So if they have done that, put it in the sunshine. What I usually do is I give it a wash through the washing machine, lay it up so it's clean-ish, just stained, lay it in the sunshine, and it disappears. I will post a picture on my Instagram of this, of the evidence. I honestly, I can't remember who, it was a mummy influencer put it on their Instagram, and I was like, nah, don't be ridiculous, that won't work. Tried it. Well, it was like a magic trick. I was amazed. So that's a little tip for you there. Pooey clothes in the sunshine, gone. Another bit of advice is that it's okay to be bored out of your mind sometimes. So the thing is, before you have a baby, your life, you don't, I mean, unless you're very, very routine-y, you don't really have like set routines. Like, we might all have a bedtime we like to get in bed by, but you know, if somebody goes, do you want to go for a coffee? Yeah. Do you want to go shopping today? Oh yeah, I'll do that. Like, let's do this. Your life is never the same. Whereas when you've got a child, everything becomes routine-y. Before I had Cooper, I was like, man, I'm not going to be one of those mums that has routines. I'm just going to be, you know, like chilled and we'll do whatever, whenever. No. I mean, if you do that, fine, but I just feel like you're setting yourself up for a fall, because you quickly realise that babies are just better at being babies when they've got a bit of a routine, when they have their naps, when they go to bed at a certain time, when their feeds are at the right times. It just makes everything run so much smoother. Just realised I've not got my rings on. Don't worry, me and Danny are still married. I just take my rings off sometimes when I'm, if Coop's done a particularly pooey nappy, I just feel like I need to just take everything off so my hands are free of jewellery. Last thing you want is poo going under your engagement ring, is it? It's okay to be bored. So yeah, it is okay to be bored when you're looking after your baby, because everything's the same pretty much every day, apart from going to, you know, like a class, or it just gets a bit samey. I mean, I'm not bored all the time. Some days I'm loving just being at home and like playing with Coops for 7 million hours. But yeah, it just gets a little bit boring, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. So next bit of advice, when you're a mum, well, me particularly, so if any of you know me, you will know I am potentially the most forgetful person in the world. I have a paper diary because if I wrote it on my phone, I'd forget to look in my phone. I forget everything. Since becoming a mum, that's ramped up to a whole nother level, and it's awful because it makes you feel like such a terrible friend, but it's just me. It's just how I am, and I've come to accept a little bit that, you know, I'm a mum of an 8-month-old. I'm going to forget things. Talking about forgetting, I seem to have lost my common sense brain too. So the other day I was talking to one of my friends, and I was saying, oh, you know, it's just so annoying when you go to the shops and all you can fit is under your pram. Like, that's all you can, if you've not got a car, that's all you can fit shopping wise. My friend said to me, oh, why don't you do an online shop? Well, yeah, what a great idea. Why don't I do an online shop? It didn't even register in my mind that that was something I could do. Just in case there's any mummies out there that are as stupid as me, online shop your big things. So your nappies, your wet wipes, your formula, because they're huge boxes. All those things, bulk buy, and buy loads at once if you can, because often there's offers, buy 2 packs, get 1 free or whatever. And then you've just got it all stocked up so you just won't be caught short, because it's very easy to be caught short when you're a mum. And the last thing you want to be doing when you're looking after your baby is having to pop to the shop for one thing. One thing that I have finally accepted is the fact that my baby has garish toys. So I thought that he wouldn't. I thought that I was just gonna have lovely wooden toys for the entirety of him being a baby, but no, I caved, because it got to a point where they just weren't doing it for Cooper anymore, and I was like, I'm being a bad mum here, because I'm doing it purely for aesthetic reasons. He is not getting these garish, bright coloured, flashing toys. Anyway, I went and did a shop and bought a few. It's brilliant. He loves it. A bit of advice: anything that pops up or like makes a funny sound, I think pop up. So we've got, yeah, so we've got this. This was one of the purchases. And
the dog is hiding. Can you find the dog?
Potentially I can find the dog. I think he's here. Yay! They are highly annoying, just so you know, just to warn you. Yeah, so they pop up, which is amazing, so, which Cooper just loves, and then he presses them down, we'll pop them back up, do it about 20 times before he even starts getting bored with it. It just baffles me how babies can do something over and over again and they don't get bored. How? So buy the loud flashy toys, it's worth it. So a lot of you have asked me about my thoughts on formula feeding, boob to bottle, whether I did combined boob milk and formula. I have actually done a whole bump episode on this. So if you have a little look back, you'll be able to find that. A lot of people have said, what do I think to formula feeding? Your choice at the end of the day. I obviously breastfed for the first 6 months, which, you know, was great. And I was so pleased that I could do it. But I equally don't think there's anything wrong with formula feeding if that's your choice. At the end of the day, it's our choice as to what we want to do. So if it's right for you, it's right for you. One thing that my friend flagged up with me, she was talking to me about it, and I was in absolute shock, and I am going to look into this, is in Boots, you can't get Advantage Card points on formula milk unless it's the follow-on stuff, which is absolutely disgusting. The fact that mothers either can't breastfeed or choose not to breastfeed, and no, it's just an Advantage Card point, but are being penalised. I just think it's so sad that that happens, and I had no idea, obviously, because basically you wouldn't really find out unless you went in and just bought formula, which is what my friend did, because you kind of don't really pay much attention to your Advantage Card points. You just give them your card and then that's your points on there. But yeah, she went in, my friend Rose, and just bought formula, handed over a card, and they said, oh no, we don't give you points on formula milk. Anyway, so I'm gonna look into this, and I will be doing a bump episode on that, because from what I've gathered, there are a few more places that do similar things, a few supermarkets too. So I'll come back to this. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was a bit of a different one, and I feel like I've maybe blabbed a little bit. I hope I've shared a bit of my advice, and Cooper is doing amazingly. He's currently having a nap. He's decided he's like a 2-year-old and he's throwing temper tantrums left, right and centre. I've got a feeling we're gonna have our hands full when he gets a little bit older. And I'm not really sure why he's a bit temporary, because me and Danny are both pretty chilled out, I think. I mean, I don't get mad very often, Danny doesn't. But yeah, he's just got a little attitude on him. So we'll have to, we'll keep you updated on how that goes. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. As always, I would love to hear your feedback. Unless you're that horrible troll, then you can do one. But yeah, I would love to hear your comments on what you thought of this video. And I'll see you next week. Bye. Thanks so much for watching Bump. If you want to watch the playlist, then click here. And if you want to watch last week's episode, then click here.